Hi, my name is Pop. I'm making a video tutorial in Ubuntu Basics showing a little bit about Epubs and Mobis. And in this one I'm going to show how you can box text and include tables and pictures inside of Epubs and Mobis. And I've got a LibreOffice Writer file on screen, an ODT file. And the first thing I want to show is that on lines 1, 2, and 3, the yellow portion, heading 2, I have got a 3-line header. And this gave me an idea of what to do. When I look at the unprintable characters, you will notice that there is a funny symbol at the end of the first and second line. And you can insert that instead of an enter by putting in this manual break, and it's called a line break, and that results in that funny arrow. And what this does is it produces a 3-line header, a heading 2 in this instance. If you just normally hit the enter key in between each line, then these 3 lines would be separated by vertical distance, but this method keeps them together. Well, that gave me an idea. Since I've got a chart here, I wanted to know if maybe this chart could be kept together in this same method. So I have got one of those symbols on the end of each line. Well, let's try it out. Let's say I am looking at this with a phone, and I'm looking at it in landscape mode. And since I'm looking at it in landscape mode, it looks fine because it's elongated. But what would happen if I were to look at this in portrait? Let's make this real skinny. Look, it messes up. So I got another idea. Well, what about boxing the text? That goes back to the days of DOS, where you could put boxes around things. Let me zoom in on that box, and it's really easy to put a box around text. Well, not that easy. It's kind of laborious, actually. What you do is you go to Insert, Special Character, and when you find these box figures, you can put them around on the various corners. I don't have them here in Courier 10 pitch, so I went to Courier New, and then I went over here and looked for box characters, box drawing. There they are. Let me zoom in on these. This is the top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, vertical, horizontal. And when I put those in, now I've got a nice box around it. But as you saw, again, when I look at the box in vertical, it breaks it up. Well, there's one more thing to do. I can go down here, and let's say right here, I insert a table. And index and table. Here it is, table. You don't want to go to this one. You want to go to this one. And all this is a little spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet defaults to 2 by 2, but you can bump that number up to let's call it 4 columns, and let's call it 8 rows. And that's what I had put in. Let me hit OK. And now let's take a look at it. Remember, this is going to be blank, and you'll have to type in everything. It does fill the whole page also. Now, this is what's kind of neat. Now we're talking. I have got this thing filling the whole page, but when I go Control-Alt-4, they shrink. let's try it out. I think I've got one up here that I've already filled out, and look at that. It looks really nice. And if I change my view from print to web layout, look, it goes full screen. And now if I use Control-Alt-4, it keeps everything together. It's behaving well. Let's hit Control-Alt-4 again and watch what happens. It is behaving so well I can't believe it. I don't care how big your font is on your phone, when you turn it from portrait to vertical, it's going to look really good. Well, let me open it up here. I'm going to Control-A, copy everything, Control-C, and I'll close this. And let me go down to the bottom and go Control-V. Now we're talking. I like the way it behaves. However, when I convert up here into an Epub with writer to Epub, although it looks just beautiful, and although I can view it with the Epub viewer that comes with Calibre, that works good. But if I use another Epub viewer, my favorite one, FB Reader, these lines don't show. FB Reader does not recognize those lines. Furthermore, if I use Calibre to reproduce this and as a Mobi, Mobi doesn't do it at all. Mobi will not even give me the first row as a row. What Mobi does is it puts right here on the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line, sixth line, seventh line. I mean, it kind of keeps order, but it's no longer a chart. Well, I hit upon another method, and this other method is low-tech, but it works, and it's got some good advantages. I'm at the bottom of my file. I'm going to put it in there, but let me go up to the top again. And here's the material that I am using that's going to be in the chart. And why don't I zoom a little bit larger? I'll go View, Zoom, and let's go 250 or something. And then I'm going to go full page. What you have to do is go to Applications and then the Ubuntu Software Center and download a program that's called Shutter. And Shutter is a program that lets you capture things on screen. And I want to show you, you can either capture the whole desktop or the active window or any portion that you define. Now that's what we're going to be doing. There's one other thing I need to show you. We need to put a box around it, and here in the preferences under action you need to put a check mark right here where it says border. Yes, I want a border, and this is how big it is, 2 pixels. It defaults to black, but I picked green. Bear in mind, on a grayscale viewer like a Nook or a Kindle, the ones that are not in color, if you do pick color, that'll show up as some shade of gray, and if you get too light you won't be able to see it, and if it's a dark color it'll go black anyway. Well, I'm going to make a selection, so I hit selection and I'm going to go right here. You see my crosshairs, and I'm going to pick this. I'm going to now left click and begin moving my cursor. Oh, look what I did. I made a mistake. I forgot to turn off the items that normally do not show, but just for the sake of time I'm just going to let it go. and there's a little green line around it, and I'm going to save this to the desktop. It gives it a name, and I'll put it on desktop, save. Now let me close this, and I'm going to move over my file with a Control-Alt-6. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and right here is where I'm going to put it in. Now what I do is insert picture from file, and there it is, desktop. That's the new file. Open, and we got it. Now I'm going to save this. First of all, let's look at it as a PDF. Export as PDF. PDFs are really fun, but you know what? They don't do everything they're supposed to. I will now open up the PDF file. Let's zoom in on this. That's the blank one that I put in. And there's the box. Now look, the box is a bit small, and it doesn't look real clear. Somehow it didn't come through. But don't despair. That's the best thing going. I'm going to close PDF. And now I'm going to send this over writer to Epub. Oops, I think I have to move my whole thing over here so I can see what I'm doing. I will hit OK. This ought to take maybe about 12 seconds or so. It's a rather small file. Just waiting until it says I'm done. 11 seconds, son of a gun. I got some kind of runtime error message. I hope that didn't destroy anything. Let's open it up. Here it is, Epub. My default program to open it is the viewer that's built into Calibre. I just tapped it. It takes a long time to load Calibre, and it takes a long time to load Calibre's viewer. I'm going to go full page. Don't see anything. I don't know what the deal is. Aha! Now look at how this messed up. I told you it would, so I'm not going to ever be using that. Next page. Now that's looking good. I mean, this. I like that. Let's see what happens if I crunch it down and go Control-Alt-4. Aha, it didn't work. What's that mean? Control-Alt-4 again. Control-Alt-4 again. Now, the picture that I inserted, yeah, you can see it's getting smaller, but it's not behaving right. I don't like what's going on with this. Control-Alt-5. I just don't like this. Let me try going in with Calibre, Application, Office, Calibre. A long time to load Calibre. I've got chart in here already, but that's from me goofing around getting ready to make this video, and that's a prior one, so I am going to remove book, remove book, remove book. Now I'm going to add it. I want to put in the OTD file. My gracious. It's in there. Now I need to select it. Now I need to grab hold of it. I don't think I'm going to mess around too much. I'll just take the defaults. I'm going to hit OK. It says starting conversion of book 1. In a moment it's going to say Epub. It's ready. Now I'm going to hit Epub. Let's see if this version came out any better. Page down. Page down. Well, this came out, but gee, look how it messes up internally. Page down. Wow. It didn't like that boxed text at all. Now this came out good. Let's do a Control-Alt-5. Control-Alt-4. Control-Alt-4 to make it smaller. It stays in sync. When I do a Mobi, same thing. I will convert the ODT file now into Mobi. Mobis are a little trickier. Again, I'm not going to change around too much. I think I'll make it compatible with a Kindle. And you have to bring this over to 0 when you do that. If you've been goofing with Caliber, you know what I mean. This has to be 0. I'm not going to do a table of contents, I guess. Mobi always puts the table of contents on the end. And if you do put in a table of contents, you need to write in the word contents or something. Otherwise it'll I think it'll put in nothing. Let's see how long this takes and see what it looks like. If you do this a lot, you'll get used to repeating the program over and over and over again. It is not uncommon to go through it 10 times, changing things around until it looks exactly the way you like it. You can change the fonts, you can change the pictures. The trouble is you cannot edit the output. You have to start over. I'm hitting Mobi. And here we go. I hope I didn't load it twice. Well, that looks nice. Why is it at the front? This looks very nice right here. I'm going to hit a Control-5. This would work very well on a phone or a tablet or a computer screen. And I think that's about it. I think that we will call this a day. My name is Pop, and I hope you enjoyed this. I have about 100 YouTube videos in Ubuntu Basics, and I enjoy hearing from people, and I thank you very, very much.